Hello folks, Jürgen here, Oscar Echo 4 Juliet Hotel Whiskey. In this video let's have a brief look at Wavelog, which is a relatively new, almost 1-year-old online web-based logging tool, logging software. The development started at the end of 2023 and the first release was on February the 1st, 2024. To have a first look at it, simply go to www.wavelog.org and try the demo link. There is also a link to the GitHub page where you can download the code and upload it to your own web server and install it there. You will also find a link to the demo page. Simply click on Try the Demo. Username and password obviously is demo. And no, I don't want to save the password right now. But let's not use this demo system. What I want to do is use my own new created logbook, which is running on a web server of our Radio Society, ÖVSV. So let's get right to it. When you log on to the system for the first time, there is an assistant which guides you through the initial setup, where you have to set, of course, the call sign, the time zone, the meet and head locator, the address, and so on and so on. Obviously, I cannot do this anymore because I have already done this. It's a one-time initial setup. If you click on your call sign and then on account, you will see the general information. That's the data I had to enter the first time when I've logged onto the system for the very first time. You can also set the Wavelog preferences here, like the style. I use default right now, which is black and white. The language, there are a number of languages to choose from. The time zone, the date format, so in Europe it's day, month, year. The measure preferences you can choose from kilometers, miles, and nautical miles. The general look of the logbook fields, you can choose what is showing in which column. And there are several QSO logging options. I don't want to go into deep right now. We can do this later. There are two menu options which are important in my opinion. It's the action on press enter. So what to do when you press enter, log the call sign or search the call sign. And the second option I do personally like is the UTC time in the menu. So if you enable it and then scroll down and click on Save Account, you will find the UTC time here next to your username. You can also set your default values here. There is only the default band. So what's your default band? In my case, I let it on all, but you can say, okay, my default band where I'm always on is 20 meters. And the default QSL methods are QSL, so old-fashioned paper QSL, LOTW, maybe QRZ and clublog. And there are also third-party services here, like Logbook of the World. You have to give your username and your password, your EQSL username and password, and the same for clublog. And down here under miscellaneous, you will find things like AMSAT status upload. Do you want to upload your data, your QSOs, your satellite QSOs to AMSAT? Not sure what's the meaning behind the URL of Mastodon server. Maybe you can post your QSOs there. I'm not sure. You can set up a WinKeyer if you have one. And down here there's the settings for Hamut, AT, that's Hamsat. Hamsat is a page for satellite communication. It's not hams.at, it's Hamsat. The next menu item I want to show you is station setup, where you can create logbooks and locations. I've already created a new logbook. The name is Neufeld. That's my home QTH, and it's linked to the location Neufeld with the grid square of Juliet November 87 Echo Uniform. And let's say I want to create a new logbook for the Austrian Red Cross when we are there at the station in Eisenstadt. So let's create a location first and call this red. Well, let's write it in German. Rotes Kreuz Eisenstadt. Station call sign is Oscar Echo 4 X-ray radio Kilo. Station power, let's go with 100 watts. We have an amp, but I can change this later on. Station DXCC is Austria. Okay, you cannot choose it by typing the letters. You have to scroll down. Let's go to Austria. Station city is Eisenstadt. And the province is Eisenstadt. EC for Eisenstadt city. Zone is 15, ITU zone is 1, and the grid square is Juliet November 87, and it's Golf uniform. And that's it for the moment. You can also, if you have the API key from QRZ, you can enter the API key here, and then your QSO data will be uploaded to the QRZ logbook. If you're not sure where to find your API key for QRZ.com, simply go to the page, go to My Logbook, and then here on the upper right side, click on Settings. And down here you will find the API key. I don't show my key right now. If you're done with all the settings, you can create your new location, and you will see it down here. And then in the next step we have to create a logbook. Let's call this Eisenstadt. It's the name of the city. Let's save it. And then link a location to it. Actually, it's linked to my home QTH, but I want to link it to the Red Cross Eisenstadt location. Click on link and you are good to go. And there is always one logbook active, so when I log on to the system and start making contacts, this is the default active logbook. And you cannot delete an active logbook, as you can see. If you want to delete your active logbook, you can set the other one as active, and then you can delete this one, or you set again this as active and you can delete the other one. Next are the band settings, where you can select bands to show or to hide when you are doing QSOs. So let's say I don't be very often on 160, and I'm not very often on 60, also not on 30 meters, and I'm not on 4 meters. Yeah, I'm on 2 meters, and I am on 70 centimeters. We don't have the 1.25 meter band here. in Europe. So let's go on. I'm not on 33 centimeters, not on 23, not on 13, not on 9, not on 6, and not on 3, not on 1.25, and I'm not doing any satellite QSOs. So that's it. This should be saved. There is no dedicated save button. So let's go back to the start page and let's go to bands again, and it is saved indeed. Yeah, there is no dedicated save button. Next item is the import and export of ARTIF files. Let's choose one and let's do an upload. Okay, it says imported. And with some QSOs now in my logbook, I have a nice overview on my login page. By the way, the first menu item up here, logbook overview, that's the same page. It's the same as when you click on the Wavelog icon here. Let's go to the advanced view, and then we can see our contacts in more detail. On this page, if you click on a call sign, you will see some detailed information about the QSO. This one is done with Lima Bravo 0 Foxtrot India. Here is my station location. And to do the QSL management, I have to upload a QSL front and a QSL back image first. Further on, we have a link to Morten's QRZ page. And we also have a link to the HamQTH page. And there's also a link to ClubLog. There are also a bunch of filters you can choose from. Let's say I want to see all QSOs I made with CQ Zone 5. So choose this and click on search, and here are all my contacts with stations in CQ Zone 5. So you got the idea. If you want to do a quick search for a call sign, you can do it right up here. Let's say I'm searching for Echo Alpha 1 Bravo United Lima, and there's Jose. One of the basic tasks of logbook software is logging contacts, and you have different options here. Live QSO means you cannot change the date or the time, but you can do contacts. Let's say I work my friend and neighbor Mike OE4MXB, and this is in FM on 2 meters, and the frequency, I don't know, 145, 425. And when you enter the call sign, you will see at first the QDH up here. You can zoom in. Mike is here, and I am down here. Then you see the picture from the QRZ side, and you will get the information from QRZ.com. There's his grid square, there is his city, there is the name, and you can add some comments here as well, and then save the contact. Next point is post QSOs, where you are able to change the date and the time. So this is used when you, let's say, you are out in a park, logging with paper and pencil, and then you are back home, and then you enter all the data into your logbook. The next option is the simplifies log entry, and there is a syntax behind. And you will find it here. If you click on what is that, there's a description that simplifies log entry was originally written by Delta Fox 3 Charlie Bravo, and down here you can find a link to his web page, and down here you will find the syntax. I have already prepared something which I can paste into it here. So the first line says the date, and the second line says band was 80 meters CW and the time. And if you hit enter, you see I've logged a contact with Kjetil, Lima Bravo 4 Fox Hotel on the 30th of October this year on 80 meters CW. But this QSO is not saved yet. If you want to save it, you have to go down here and click on Save in Wavelog, but you can also simply clear the session. The next menu item is Live Contest Logging. Let's select a contest. Let's go with the CQ Worldwide DX phone contest. And with this drop down here, you can turn on or off the exchange fields. Let's log echo 77DX. This should be in 1.5 and 1.5 soon, and hit enter. Okay, enter is not working. Maybe I have to be in the call sign field. No. Okay. The cursor has to be in the exchange received field, and then you can hit enter and the contact is saved. Let's try another one. Oscar Echo 4 Charlie. And down here you get this call sign suggestions. That's great. And they are also in 1.5. Enter. Yeah, that works fine. And the next on the list is post contest logging. The only difference is you can set a date and you can set a time compared to live contest logging, where you cannot change these values. Next on the list are nodes. It's very self-explanatory. You can create a node. Let's call this test, and you have 3 categories: general, antenna, satellites, and test, and you save the node, and then you have it here. Very simple. Next on the list are the analytics. Let's go to statistics. Yeah, of course, there's not much in here, only the contacts I made during the CQ Worldwide contest in the park, and the 1 or 2 contacts I have added manually. So in the year 2024, I made 175 contacts. 99% in SSB, 1% in FM, 33% on 20 meters, 29% on 15, and so on. And there's another few. And here we see the unique call signs. Let's compare this with the QSOs. For example, in phone, I have 110 QSOs with 107 unique call signs. You get the idea. Well, next in the statistics drop-down is QSL statistics. Okay, I haven't received any QSLs, so there's no confirmation, so there's not much to see. Next point, it's a nice one. It's the grid square map. where you can click on a grid square, for example, and you can see all the contacts you made with that grid square. Let's zoom a little bit closer in. So here we have Whiskey Alpha 1 Tango. What do we have up here in Canada? Victor Echo 9 Charlie Foxtrot, Victor Yankee 2 Tango Tango. They are in the same grid square. Let's zoom out a bit. What do we have over here in Europe? Let's go to Italy. Juliet Mike 77, there's only one station. Juliet Mike 75, it's Malta, 9 Hotel 6 Alpha, and so on and so on. Next on the list is activated grid squares. There are not much, because this is what I made from this grid square. That's not correct, because when I was out in the park during CQ Worldwide, I was in another grid square, but I guess I forgot to set the grid square. So that's not correct. That was a little bit further to the west. Next on the list, we have grid square activators, whatever this means. Okay, what if we change the count? No, we cannot change the count. So we have, let's see, let's scroll down. We have Zulu Foxtrot 5 Tango. There's one count in that grid square, and we can show the QSOs. Okay, there are 2 QSOs with this station in that grid square, and we can show the grid square on the map as well. Next is distances worked. That's interesting. You can select a band. Let's go for all, and you can set a propagation, whether it's sporadic E or backscatter or whatever. Let's go for all and click on show. And the furthest distance was 15,330 kilometers. With Golf 3 Yankee, that cannot be true. In grid square alpha alpha 00 alpha alpha, there is something wrong in here. But the graph is interesting. There are the kilometers, or if you switch it to miles, in miles from 0 to the maximum. The first bar is from 0 to 50 kilometers, where we have OE1 DXU, OE1 KEB, OE1 KSG, OE4 Charlie, and OE4 MXB, and so on and so on. What do we have up here? Radio Whiskey 9 USA, at a distance between 4,750 and 4,800 kilometers. Next on the list we have satellite distance records, and as I'm not made any satellite contacts, there is nothing. And let's go to days with QSOs. Here you have an overview on how many days of the year you made contacts. So in my case, with this few contacts uploaded to the logbook, it shows me I made contacts on 3 days in the year 2024. Next we have the timeline. Let's go with all bands, all modes, and Let's choose worked all zones. Propagation is all. Click on show. And there we have a list of zones I've worked. Yeah, maybe he's taking the first QSO in my log with that specific zone, and then he puts it on a list. I'm really sure that I made more than one QSO with CQ zone 5. Let's click on show. Here we go, and then we have the list of stations. Let's try another one. Let's try DXCC and click on show, and let's choose Delta Lima, and here we have the list of all Delta Lima QSOs I made. But I'm not sure why it's called timeline. Let's move on. Let's go to accumulated statistics. Click on show. And I worked 47 DXCCs in 2024. Let's click on monthly and show. Okay, I made 47. Oh, that's strange. 47 in November. No, that cannot be true. And 47 in October. Number of DXCCs worked monthly. Okay, not sure. Sorry, folks. Let's move on to the time plotter. Click on show. I always go with all bands and all DXCCs and all zones and so on. And here you can see how much QSOs you made on a specific day. And you also can watch this in full screen or print the chart or download an image or export an CSV or an XLS. And let's move on to the last point below analytics, that's continents. And this doesn't make sense to me because I worked only the European continent here with 8 QSOs. But if I go to the logbook, you can see that I worked some US stations as well, Russia, Turkey, Barbados. I'm not sure. Maybe this is still under development. In the next column up here in the menu, we have awards, and there are international awards, ex-OTA, that means SOTA, IOTA, or POTA awards. Then we have Canadian awards, German awards, British awards, Japanese, Luxembourg, Swiss awards, and US awards. Let's go with, I do not go through all those awards right now. Let's go to DXCC. And down here we have a list. You can scroll through it and you can see the country, the DXCC, and whether if it's worked or confirmed. If you click on it, you can see the call sign. Let's go a little bit further down. Yeah, then you have the complete list of worked and confirmed countries. A nicer view is if you click on the tab map, because then you have a nice overview of worked and confirmed DXCCs. So that's really neat. Let's choose another award. Let's choose POTA. And here you can see all the POTA references I worked. These contacts were park to park, obviously, because I've logged the references in the Polo logging app. And the last column we have up here is tools. And we have DX calendar, contest calendar, SAT, a band map, and SAT timers. Let's go to the DX calendar first. And the data is coming from ng3k.com. And here you have a list of upcoming or already on air activations like the expeditions and so on, holiday activations, whatever. And you can click on the DXCC and then you can see if you have already worked this DXCC or you have it confirmed. I can show you this down here, the Canary Island. If I click on the DXCC, I see I've already worked Canary Islands on 15 meters and on 10 meters. And if I click on the worked link, I can see it was Echo Alpha 8 Alpha Mike during the CQ Worldwide phone contest. Let's scroll down a bit. What else do we have here? Cayman Islands, yeah, worked on 15 and on 10 meters, and so on. Guam worked, and yeah, that's nice. That's a neat feature. Let's move on and go to the contest calendar, which is very nice. That's a great overview. The data is coming from contestcalendar.com. And you have all the actual running contests and the upcoming contests. And you can show the details. Let's click on the Virac HF contest, show details. It's open up in a new window and you can see all the stuff related to this contest. Next on the list is Hamut, which is for satellite communications. I cannot tell you anything about it, I'm sorry. So let's move on to band map. So this is some kind of DX cluster. You have a list of cluster spots here and you can switch over to band map. And let's go to 10 meters. And here you can see a number of stations spotted on the DX cluster. I cannot click on the call signs. Maybe if you connect the system to your rig, then you should be able to click it, but I cannot confirm this, I'm sorry. And the last point on the list is SAT timers, and as I mentioned before, I cannot tell you much about satellite communication. And finally, let's go back to the user menu. Click on your call sign and down below you have account, station setup. We've done this before. Bands, ADIF, import, export. Other export options, you can export KMLs, files for DX Atlas, for Summits on the Air, Cabrillo, EDI, and CFD. Then you have this OQRS requests page. It's not set up yet, so there is nothing. Next, we have the QSL queue. There is also nothing because I haven't added any QSOs to the queue. Next, we have QSL card labels. There is also nothing because I have to create a new label first. Then we have third-party services like LOTW, EQSL, and so on, QRZ logbook. Let's go to LOTW. To sync logbook of the world, you have to upload the certificates before. So you need a certificate for each call sign you are using. Then we have the API keys. You can generate read and write keys or read-only keys. This is for interfacing with some third-party apps. So the third-party app can access Wavelog. And yeah, there is no radio interface at the moment. The transceivers are not connected to my Mac. They are connected to a Windows notebook. So I will try this in the next future, but then I have to do this on my Windows machine. First, I have to install FLRig, and then I try to interface it with my radio. Next on the list is the version info, and then we have the help, which opens up in a new browser tab. Here you have all the information, how to install it, and yeah, the administration, APIs, and so on. And the last point down here is the forum, where you can exchange your experience with other users or ask questions, etc. And finally, let's sign out. Thank you for watching, and till next time, 73 folks.